Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. And before we get into the episode, I do have an announcement. And the announcement is that I have officially joined the Dedicated Tax Pro family for the tax season of 2026. And I am helping to prepare taxes. So if you are in the need to have someone to prepare your taxes, or if you know someone who has this need, please send them my way to be able to help them to prepare their taxes for the 2026 season. I am so excited to be able to help my community with this service. It's so important. We want to make sure that you get every single penny that you earned, right? That you deserve. So if you would like a free estimate, please send me an email at De La Cruz period dedicated tax pros at gmail.com. Again, I will include that email in the show notes and show description so you can get your free estimate. And also, there is a referral bonus. So if you refer a client to me, the firm will send you $50. So that's right, you can even earn $50 per client that you refer to the firm. Again, that is Dedicated Tax Pro. I am so excited to be able to serve you guys with this new service. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Now, enjoy the episode. Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and today I have Miss Lonnie with us. She is going to be talking about her experience coming from Ireland. And then we'll get into her business and also her own podcast. Welcome, Lonnie, to the show. Thank you so much for being here and being willing to share your story of immigration.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat about this. I don't think
Yes.
I've ever talked about this really with other people, so
You know what? That is very common. That is like usually guests will say like it's either their first time talking about their immigration experience in particular or their first time being on a podcast in general. So that
yeah.
is very, very common. And I hear it's because like people don't ask. Like, people don't really ask about their immigration experience, and I'm just like, "How do people not ask?" Like, I'm such a curious person, and I like, that's just me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
"How are people not curious about this?" But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, my boyfriend even just told me recently when I told him I was gonna do this, he's like, "I keep forgetting you're an immigrant."
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Alright, so introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get started on memories from Ireland.
Well, yeah, the memories will be a bit older,
Childhood.
but, my
Yeah.
name's Lonnie, as Heidi said. So I used to be a what do you call it, a business analyst. And now I went into life coaching after going through my own spiritual journey and really diving into self development. So I really love helping other women heal and do spiritual and self development in a way that is more holistic and really gets to the root of what's going on. So we really do identity shifts. It's not just, positive thinking and all that. So I love
Mm.
instilling women with confidence, especially entrepreneurs. But I immigrated from Ireland when I was around 2. So I don't know how much you want me to get
Oh.
into right now, but just a little overview. Immigrated
Yeah.
when I was like 2, 3. My parents had me very young and they came over with like $700 in their pocket. That was it. And then we lived in Boston, well, not like in the city, but suburbs of Boston for about 10 years, and now we've been in Wisconsin ever since, and I it's beautiful in the summer, but winters are
Brutal.
not so fun.
Yeah. I'm
It's
from
like 6
Michigan, so I
months
know.
6 months of the year, 6 to 7 months is like, bleh, weather, but in
Yeah.
the summer, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan, so I definitely, know, and
You get
now
it.
yeah, so and, like, now I'm in Florida, and when people ask me, like, "Oh, what is your favorite, like, season?" And I'm like, "Okay, in Florida, my favorite season is the winter of Florida because it feels like spring up north." Like,
I can see that.
yeah, I love it. But, yeah, no, I understand completely, so tell us okay, so you were 2.
Yeah.
And you said your parents came. Do you know what led them to move to the US?
Yeah, so they were really, really young when they had me.
Mhm.
And honestly, America kind the title of your podcast, it was sold as the dream of,
Yes.
hey, if you work hard, you're going to make a lot of money, all this kind of stuff. So the economy had just gone to crap in Ireland. And so they were like, all right, we want to give her the best opportunity possible. So my dad, you actually had to apply for a lottery, and my dad won it, and my mom did not. And so they actually
Wow.
got married so that way they could both come over. Um, so yeah, that's kind of I would say long story short, but that's just the story
Yeah.
of it.
I just not just recently, but like doing research with the podcast and immigration, like I learned about the lottery
Mhm.
that people could apply for and things like that. I had no idea before because usually what you hear is like either job, marriage,
Yeah.
or like siblings will petition you, but like that takes forever when it's siblings to sibling. But like the lottery thing was like new, so like I have not well, now I know your dad, but, like, I had not met anyone who, like, had actually, gotten through
Yeah.
to
There
with
was
the
one guy
lottery.
he knew who had just moved over there, and so he was gonna be able to get a job with him, but
Mhm.
I think it was just, like, the lottery situation, like, it wasn't a work visa, I could be wrong on that, but
Yeah.
that's what I've been told of, he won the lottery, she didn't. So 'cause for them, they were already together, right? Like, it was just
Yeah.
done deal, but then with that situation, you see that having to happen, a lot with other people as well. So he came over first, got everything settled. Dude was working like 3 jobs just to
Yep.
try to support for his family. And then once he had, a place set up, then we came over.
Do you know how long that was?
No, actually,
Yeah.
don't think I've ever asked that question, but it's funny. One one little aspect was my mom thought she had lost my dad already because the American women were portrayed to be like these really skinny blonde bombshells,
Oh,
like rollerblading around. She's like, "He's
I
got the
lost him
total
to an American.
fatherhood of them."
Yeah, oh my goodness. No,
But
I
no,
I
my dad
I asked
empathized for my mom, but
yeah, no, I asked because I'm just thinking of, like, that sacrifice, right, that they had to
Mhm.
do for X amount of
Yeah.
years to be able for him to come first and then be able to petition for
I
the so
I wanna say it's probably around 6 months.
6 months,
Like,
okay.
yeah, I don't think it was, like, years situation.
Oh, okay.
I wanna say, like I vaguely remember that part of the conversation. I wanna say it was probably around 6 months, so not too bad, but when we first came over, then there were, like, gunshots around where we were, and
Oh,
so that was, like, the first couple nights my mom had in America, and she's like, "Yeah, we gotta move out of this spot," and so that's when we found, a smaller town in the suburbs, so it was a bit of an intense situation for my mom, for my dad coming over, and the car that he had didn't have heat, so he was driving to work and, like, freezing cold, wearing gloves all the time, like, he had a lot of sacrifices bringing us over.
yeah. 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 Very, it is a lot of sacrifice.
Mm.
What I wanted to ask was, so I know that they had you very young. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a brother, so he's actually the only one who's been born in America, so all the rest of my family were all from Ireland. He's the only one
Mhm.
from America. My parents went through the citizenship process when they came over. Luckily, I was young enough, so I got neutralized and didn't have to,
Yes.
like, do any
Okay.
studying. So I got lucky. But yeah, I've had teachers ask me before, like, in high school, they're like, "Are you actually a citizen?" And it sounded, like, very demeaning, and I'm like,
Oh, wow.
"Yeah." So that's been that's been interesting, but yeah, I have my brother. So he's not as proud of necessarily the Irish part, I think as he's gotten older, he
Mhm.
appreciates it a little bit more.
Yeah,
Um
okay.
so now he's, like, gotten into it as he's gotten older as well.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard of that. It's just like you're born here, you kinda just, like, get used to, like, the American culture or whatever, and then
Yeah.
as you get older, then it's like, "Wait, let me find out about this other side of my family," and things like that, so yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Culture shocks that you remember experiencing. I know the gunshots, I mean, that's huge right there,
Yeah,
'cause
luckily, I don't remember that, but,
my goodness.
um,
Um
yeah, there were a few. I'd say well, for my mom, I don't remember this part, but for my mom, like, I was not able to really sit down in, like, pre-K, and the teachers are wanting me to, and they wanted to, like, put labels on me and telling my mom, like, she has to learn to, like, be obedient and blah, blah, blah. My mom's like, "She's a child. She's supposed to run around and go play in, like, the sandbox or something. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" So, because in Ireland, like, the kids, they're running around, they're in the field, all that kinda stuff.
Mm.
Um, and so that was, like, a bit of a culture shock for her with that, and then they also wanted to like, put me in speech therapy because I had a little bit of an accent, and they couldn't figure that out.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So that was interesting. Um, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a culture shock for me because I was so young, but I remember being in elementary school and getting a dress stolen, and then I remember 2 girls pretending to be my friends, and when they came over to my house, they stole my Holy Communion dress and other things and my money and stuff. So I just remember being like, "Is this what kids are like?" So I wouldn't say it was necessarily a culture shock, but,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, sometimes I would wonder, is that just here? Like, what's going on? Like, you don't know, right? Because that's your first experience,
Mhm.
and you sort of wonder how it would be different. But I think the biggest thing for me sort of growing up is sarcasm. Not taken well over here. So when you're being sarcastic, people think you're a jerk, and I'm just like, "I was just kidding." That and I talk very passionately, and that's just kinda how the Irish are, and, we sort of pull the Mickey, and, I have people be like, "Why are you getting so worked up?" Or like, "Why are you mad?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not mad." Like, it's just how I talk kind of thing. And then the openness of women, and I know we talked about this before.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it's probably different now, like, if I grew up in Ireland, like, it's probably different for the younger generations, but how my parents grew up and, like, how I was just raised, women talking about their cycles, it's a very personal matter.
Yeah.
I remember being in choir class and this girl talking about, like, "I need a Snickers, I need some chocolate, like, I need some Midol," and I'm like, "Why are you announcing this to the classroom?" Like,
Yeah.
"I'm so sorry you're going through something right now, but this is just" so a lot of girls, if they were trying to talk to me and, like, bond, they'd start talking about their cycles, and I'm like, "I am extremely uncomfortable right now, and this is
Yeah.
a private kind of thing." So I'd say those were, like, the main culture shocks for me, at least growing up. And now since being older and traveling, I would say I've definitely noticed different things with Americans versus,
Mm.
you know, other places.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to us about, visiting Ireland. And I can't talk. Ireland.
Well, that's just because I say it different. I used to get made fun of for that too. People would be like,
Really?
"Oh, Ireland, is it next to Culand?" And I'm just like, "That's how you say it, though."
Okay, so pronounce it the proper way.
Ireland.
Ireland. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Hispanic, so
No, so
it's
everyone says that, so if I talk to someone and they don't know what I'm saying, I'll say, like, Irlanda, because 'cause I've heard that, like, when I've been practicing
Okay.
Spanish, like, I've heard that come up, and
Mhm.
then they still don't get it, and and so then I just say, like, Ireland, and then everyone will get
Oh,
it, so but yeah, like,
okay.
the typical way is Ireland. So visiting, I went back a couple times when I was younger, um, and that was without my parents, so there was a couple women that came over, and so my parents let me go over and spend time with my grandparents. I loved it because my granddad, he was a mechanic, but he also had a horse business, so I would always just run down to the stables. Like, so
Oh,
even though I got to see horses, like, once a year, it's like, those are the happy, like, really happy memories of my childhood.
yeah.
And then growing up, my nana passed when I was, like, 8, 9, and so
Mhm.
my dad and I and then sometimes the whole family, like 'cause it's expensive, for everyone to go, so a lot of the times it would just be myself and my dad, but we would go back and go for her memorial mass, and then my dad passed in 2014, so we've gone back for his memorial mass. So, it's kinda bittersweet to go back because it's, like, not for the best reasons, but,
Yeah.
it'd be nice just to be back there. There's, like, just something about, like, you feel it in your blood of, like, this is home,
Home.
it's comforting, it's cozy. I haven't explored much of Ireland because I would just be, visiting family and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But, yeah, there's definitely a lot of great memories from visiting there, and the food. I'm definitely stereotypical, I love my potatoes.
Actual potatoes.
Potatoes with the gravy, and then the Irish breakfast too with the
Mm.
pudding and the sausage, and yeah, it's good.
Oh, man, sounds delicious. Oh my goodness. And so, how long has it been since you've been back?
So we go every year now
Every year.
for my
Okay.
dad's mass, yeah, so there's really
Oh,
out of my life, there's only been a handful of years that I've not been back, and Ireland has changed so much, especially with open Europe. I mean, there's definitely benefits to it, but unfortunately, it's kinda become spot the Irish person now, because now there's so
wow.
many immigrants over there. Yeah, and a lot of, Polish people taking over the jobs and stuff like that. So I've seen it transform, like, in the last 20 years even.
Mhm.
So I definitely say in the last 10 years, it's been quite a difference, and unfortunately, like, in certain areas like, in one of the stores, the lady said, "Yeah, I kinda don't feel safe walking back to my car now anymore in the evening because there's some gangs that have come in."
Oh,
Um,
no.
yeah, it's unfortunately changed a lot, but there's still such beautiful culture and everything. I remember going to one of the pubs and I was getting a Guinness for someone, and this old man was sitting at the bar, and he realized it was taking a long time, and he goes, "Yeah, this is why we don't become alcoholics from Guinness." 'Cause
Oh my
it takes so long to
gosh.
get it. But that's, like, the Irish humor, and it's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like, the old men just wanna have the crack, you know, and so it's still really beautiful, and they'll play the music in the pubs and everything like that, so there's still a lot of great culture there.
Yeah. So, okay, you mentioned the open Europe. I'm not too familiar with that. So what happened? Hi, Heidi here. Thank you so much for listening and supporting my podcast, but most importantly, the mission. If you would like to further support this podcast, there are a few ways you can do that. You can sign up for the newsletter. You'll receive the episodes straight to your inbox every time they drop. The link is in the show notes and the show description. You can subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel. And lastly, you can donate money. That link is also in the show notes and show description. If you would like to sponsor an episode or promote your business on this show, send me an email at Heidi at HeidiDelacruz.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the episode.
So I won't lie, I'm kind of ignorant to it because I didn't, like, do any research on it or know that much about it, but
Okay.
pretty much you're allowed to, like, go anywhere you want now, live anywhere you want
Oh,
within open Europe. So,
oh, okay.
there's a lot of people who are immigrating from other places. A lot of the Polish have come over into Ireland. I think a main reason is because I think the economy got better and there were a lot more job opportunities for people. Because when I've talked to
Mm,
people, like, when I've been at the hotel and stuff, and I talked to other people, that's usually what they say is there's a lot of job opportunities. That or they got together with an Irish person.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So like growing up, your family are Irish, are from
Mhm.
Ireland, and then you're here in the United States. So how did your parents, did they like try to adapt? Did they try to stay within like their traditions or like how was it? So like I asked this because one of my guests had mentioned she was like, we were here in the United States, but like once you step foot in my house, you're in Nigeria. Like this is a
Mhm.
Nigerian family, like we keep it and everything. And so I was like, yeah, I can relate to that. It was like, yeah, we were here in the United States, but it's like as soon as you come home, like you're in the Dominican Republic, right? Like food and everything. So how was it for your parents? Did they really try to adapt? Did they try to keep their cultures and traditions? How was that for you?
I think it was just pretty natural. I mean, we're pretty much a family of what you see is what you get. Um, and I think because Ireland is very much, I think a lot of, American aspects and Irish aspects, they can interlap. And yes, we have, certain foods and stuff like that, but Americans also make sandwiches. They also make, mashed potatoes, things like that.
Yeah.
So, I would say, I'll tell you this. Thanksgiving food is good, so we adopted Thanksgiving in the household. We're like, Technically, this isn't for us, but we're gonna celebrate that because it tastes good. But I would say, yeah, it's still an Irish household in terms
Mhm.
of, we're very sarcastic, we have our own kind of sense of humor, and some people get it, some people don't, but for the most part, like, anyone who came over, my dad definitely, like, typical Irish man, gift of the gab, life of the party.
Aw.
They had very strong accents. This one lady, he was having to do a presentation for work, and some lady from the South was like, "I could listen to you read a phone book."
Just loving the accent.
Yes, they definitely do. So, yeah, my all my friends, they love my family. I know, I'm wondering, like, if we have any specific total Irish traditions, because there's certain things of, like, during Christmas, you leave a candle out in the window and stuff. Mom did do that when she was younger.
Oh,
I
interesting.
didn't notice that, I'll be honest, because we were going through Old World, Wisconsin, and there was an Irish house that they set up, and so I'm like, "That's a thing?" She goes, "Yeah, I did that in Boston." Like, okay." I was young, I didn't pay attention, right? I just wanted
Yeah, yeah,
gifts. So, yeah, I think we're not super religious, but still being a little bit holy, and celebrating Christmas, and, like, we always had to thank Jesus and say happy birthday before, we open gifts and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. To other people, it might seem more Irish, and to me, it's just life. So I think
yeah.
it's a little hard for me to decipher that, if I'm honest.
This is probably gonna be a very ignorant question, but is St. Patrick's Day as big over there as it is here in the US?
It's big, however, I avoid it at all costs over here. So,
Really?
number 1, I don't wanna deal with drunk people.
Okay. Valid.
And then so it's like, no." Um, Number 2, I'm a horrible Irish person.
Oh, don't say that.
I never really liked beer. So,
Okay,
I don't
okay.
mind a lager now, but I was just like, "I don't wanna drink green beer and stuff." But yeah, so we don't really celebrate it, because then also it's like, I kind of got made fun of for my heritage, and, like, my mom got told, "Go back to where you came from," kind of thing, back in the day. And so then when you have people, and I'll tell them, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm Irish," and they say, "Oh, me too. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like 15 or 20%, or like my great, 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 great grandfather." I'm like, "Okay." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm from Galway. I was born there." And they're like, "Oh, you're Irish, Irish," kind of thing. So it's like people don't believe me until I tell them. So I'm just like, "You know what? You guys go ahead, believe you're Irish." So it's like a little bit of a sore subject for me, I won't lie. It's kind of
Mhm.
like petty, but I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just," and I don't like crowds.
Yeah, yeah, and I ask because Cinco de Mayo is bigger in the US than what it actually is in Mexico, so it's like,
Really?
yeah, yeah, it's not really celebrated like that in Mexico like it is here, and a lot of
Wow.
people think it's Mexico's Independence Day, and it's not. They won a battle is what it is. It's yeah,
Dia los
so
Muertos, that's like
that
the
one's
big
big.
holiday though,
Yeah,
right?
that's a big holiday, November 1st. But yeah, no, Cinco de Mayo is not that big in Mexico as it is here
Mhm.
in the United States. So I was wondering if it was like the
Yeah,
same
they
as St.
definitely
Patrick's Day.
they make the river green, because I remember looking
Yep.
up too, because I've had people ask me that before, and I'm like, "Never been there during that time," but I'm pretty sure pretty much any excuse to drink, the Irish will take it.
Sounds like DR. There's a saying in the Dominican Republic, it's like we never have enough money for food, but we have money for drinks. Like you can always find money to drink, like for sure.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so Lani, okay, so you mentioned a little bit about your business, about
Yeah.
the women that you like to help and how you like to help them. So tell us how that got started.
So pretty much I had like a quarter life crisis once I got done with my master's program. I was in a 9-year relationship that was just not good for me. I just finished the master's. I was in a job for like 3 years now where I wasn't really being distracted because I wasn't like that challenged in it anymore. And so all the grief that I didn't deal with my father's passing just sort of came flooding.
Wow.
So I went into this, like, deep healing journey, and I had gained weight from depression, stuff with that, and I tried everything to lose the weight, and I tried everything to be confident too. I was one of those people who everyone thought I was confident, but it was false. It was like I was just putting it on. Um, and so I tried everything to be confident, and then after my father's death, I just became a bitch. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. I did. Like, I was very angry, I was very upset, because it could have been avoided, shouldn't have happened sort of thing, and I knew that the likelihood of getting justice was very low, which we did not, so it's like there's no closure of it, you know? So I just did not like who I became. I wasn't happy with where I was. And no matter what I tried, I would try affirmations. I would try just to think more positively. I would go to CrossFit and eat salads for 6 months, and like nothing was changing. So then I was even more frustrated. So I ended up just focusing on healing and trying to find peace. And I sort of just stumbled into certain things. Like I stumbled into breath work by accident. And I started reading a couple books and I just started putting two and two together with everything. And like weight started coming off and I was like, holy crap, my body has been so stressed out and so is holding on to the weight. So no matter what I did, it was still just going to stay there until I went through this. And I'm like, why is no one talking about this? Why did no personal trainer tell me this? Why did
Yeah.
nothing on YouTube say anything about this? And maybe it did. I just didn't come across it.
Yeah.
And then all the self development was about just think better thoughts, just be happier, just, reframe this or something. And it was just meeting you where you were and telling you where to go. And then I realized, though, how you are is operating from a standpoint of your inner child, and your limiting beliefs are formed mostly between the ages of 2 and 8. And so is your nervous system. So
Mhm.
you can try to do everything you want, but if you're still stuck in that little girl, you're going to be fighting this uphill battle. And so that was another thing where I'm like, there's no one's talking about this in self development. So I started realizing, like, hey, there actually is this blueprint to healing, to building confidence. And then once you have that confidence, that's going to help you create the life that you want. And I was like, holy crap. If more people love themselves, they would not settle for anything that's not really making them happy. They wouldn't deal with the crappy relationship. They would go and follow their dreams, whether that's going to corporate, building their own business, or maybe they want to climb the corporate ladder. They, would just feel more at peace in themselves. They wouldn't care what other people think. Like people just need to learn self-love, and that's literally going to give you everything that you want. So I sort of just created this framework and then I started testing it out on some other women and did some free coaching and they had amazing results. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn into a life coach. And so I got a certification and really focused on my own methodology of that to help women not only heal, to have that inner peace, but then also do the mindset work so you can unlock your potential. Because I feel like so often we're focused on, let me just unlock my potential, but then you end up being unaligned if you're chasing validation, if you're chasing these goals for kind of the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're coming from a place of self love and, you know what, I kind of want this. Let me see what I'm capable of. And you're unlocking your potential from that way, then things feel more aligned. Then things are more fulfilling. So it's really about finding that inner peace, but then also unlocking your potential and being your most authentic, aligned self.
Wow, that is so, so true. And do you work with specific type of women or like what are your clients like mostly struggling with? Like I know it's a mindset
Yeah.
and like feeling and like finding that self peace, but I
hmm
like what type of clients do you work with is pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So my clients often have several different situations going on, right? So, in short, I work with women and I've started to really work with women who are in entrepreneurship. So,
Mhm.
either they're starting their business or they haven't started their business and they're struggling with that confidence to really show up and they're
Yes.
struggling with boundaries and trying to find this work life balance. Or there's the woman who she's very successful, but now she's tied her identity and her work to her business and she doesn't know who she is anymore.
Mhm.
So in both situations, the identity is shaken up, right? So most of the women that I work with, they are moms and they've lost themselves either in their business, in motherhood. So I really help them come back to figuring out who they are and who their authentic self is. Because everyone online is talking about just be your authentic self, stop caring whoever or what anyone thinks. Okay, great. Do you know who you are though?
Yeah.
You know who you are even
Yes.
without your struggles. Like, anyone
Yes.
can tell you show up authentically, and that's great, but if you don't know who you are, how are you gonna do that? And if you're not comfortable with who you are. So let's
Yeah.
go to that first and foremost. Um, so that's how I coach differently, but a lot of the one I work with, they are moms, they're struggling with confidence. They are often people pleasers. They are often perfectionists and very ambitious women and just find themselves trying to do like everything that they can and they're very burnt out. So we do also a lot of energy audits and looking at, hey, what is draining the most of your energy right now? So it's a very specific process that I take them through.
Mhm.
But we focus really on wellness because taking care of your body is also very important. I'm not a nutritionist or personal trainer, but we focus on morning routines, evening routines. Like, okay, let's create a workout plan that's actually fun for you that you're going to be able to stay consistent with.
Yeah.
And so I actually had a woman text me like, "Oh my god, it's the most fun I've had working out ever." And a lot of the women I work with lose weight even though I'm not a personal trainer because a lot of the times it's just one, we're holding on to those negative emotions. Our nervous system is jacked. So as you're learning to heal and as you're learning to discover who your authentic self is, you are starting to release that nervous system as you're releasing trauma and going through these limiting beliefs. You're starting to release that weight you've been carrying energetically. So between that and then being consistent with your habits, a lot of the women lose weight anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but we focus really on the healing first and foremost, and then those habits. Everyone loves atomic habits, but it's like let's focus on what's draining your energy first, and then you're gonna have energy to stick with those habits, because that's usually the
Yes.
biggest problem, right? We don't have the energy for it. So, that I just went to a tangent with that, sorry. Yes,
No,
I
no,
work
no
with
worries.
moms,
Mhm.
with women, and they're very ambitious, but unfortunately, they're struggling with really fully showing up as their authentic self, and they're also usually struggling with not feeling too confident in their body as well, and just feeling this burnt out, overwhelmed perfectionism aspect, and so we work on all of that.
You work on a one-on-one basis, coaching, membership?
Yes, so I'm actually thinking of doing a membership.
Okay.
'Cause I actually really like the idea. I do mainly one-on-one, and then I have a course. So, if someone is in a financial position where maybe they can't afford one-on-one, or maybe they're really, just more of a self-led person, I have a course that walks them through the whole process. But then I also do that one-on-one coaching for the women who really want to dive deeper and get more specific, and they really value that connection, that guidance, that mentorship, and that accountability. But I've been thinking about turning the course maybe into a membership as well and adding some different libraries of meditation, nervous system, somatic practices, things like that. So that way they have even more of a toolkit, if you will.
Sounds amazing. And okay, so from here, tell me about your podcast.
Podcast, that's the Weightless Warrior podcast, not weight loss, it's weightlifting, because everyone thinks that, but Weightless Warrior, that's my brand, that's my baby, and it's really about releasing the weight of everything that you're not and everything that's been draining you energetically so you can elevate into that highest version of yourself who
Mm.
is confident, she's the most authentic version of herself, she feels at peace, like, it's this alignment, right? But it's work to get there, and that's where the warrior comes into play. So I'm really about building women leaders and women who, they don't fit in and they're not meant to because they're meant to lead the way. So the Weightless Warrior podcast, it's all about self-development, healing, mindset, all those things to help you feel your most confident, authentic self and help you within your journey of your personal life, but then also as the woman behind the business too.
I love that. And I will include all your links in the show notes and show descriptions. That you sent me so people can connect if they want to work with you or follow your journey and definitely listen to your podcast. I'll include all that link in there. And Lonnie, thank you so much for your time today, for sharing your journey and sharing your business and how you got started and who you help. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Is very important to help women be learn who their authentic selves are and have that healing and move forward and be able to achieve their dreams. And to wrap up today's conversation, what does the American dream mean to you?
I was ready for that, and then I forgot about that question coming. I think it's ever kind of evolving. I think what the American dream meant 20 years ago is not necessarily what it means today, but I think when people think of the American dream, they really think of the opportunity to make whatever dream that you have a reality, whether you want to do a taco truck or start up a tech company or climb the corporate ladder. I think that's kind of always at the heart of it is that it's seen as, hey, there's opportunity available here.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for this, for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love your energy and I love what you're doing here and sharing the experiences of so many women. And it's amazing just to hear women be heard and be seen. And I'm sure there's so many other women who can resonate with the people who come onto your podcast, which is amazing.
Thank you for listening to Mommy Podcast.